Hey everyone, happy Friday. Cinephile Mike here, and welcome to day 48 of Oscar Rewind, my bi-weekly series of videos where I revisit the films that reflect the earlier work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. As always, I'll be discussing the awards history for the film, the box office information, the critical response, and as always, these reviews are spoiler-free. You can find older episodes of Oscar Rewind and other great spoiler free reviews here on the YouTube channel, or all of those videos and exclusive print reviews of this summer's new releases on my website, cinephilemike.com, along with more information forthcoming and coverage from the Edinburgh International Film Festival. So, for today, I'm looking at a bit of a controversial action comedy which, again, another film with controversy, like Rising Sun I talked about earlier this week. Today we're talking about Sony Pictures' 30 Minutes or Less. Written by Michael Diliberti and Matthew Sullivan, based on a story by Diliberti, and directed by Ruben Fleischer, this film was a late summer release in August of 2011. So, as of this posting, this film was in theaters. I'm actually recording it the day before or after the film was actually originally theatrically released in August of 2011. The film was a middling box office success. It made $37,053,924 at the domestic box office and an additional $3,608,708 internationally for a worldwide total of $40,662,632 against a reported $28 million budget. Critically, the film is on the lower end with 165 critical reviews, resulting in a 45% score and over 25,000 reviews, averaging a 40% audience score. So, there's that. So, why does this middling reviewed comedy land on Rewind this season? Well, it is for the film's score. That plays a range of tones to cover the range of plot points that happen here. Yes. The film's composer, two-time Oscar-winning composer Ludwig Göransson, who won his first Oscar for scoring Black Panther, was nominated for the film's sequel, Wakanda Forever, won his second Oscar on his third nomination this year for scoring Nolan's grand opus, Oppenheimer. 30 Minutes or Less, as per IMDb, is Göransson's first scoring credit, though some people say that it was Ryan Coogler's Fruitvale Station. So depending when the filming was done and were released, you know, there's a couple year discrepancy there, but IMDb is the source I usually reference, and they listed 30 Minutes or Less as his first credit. As for 30 Minutes or Less's own awards journey, there is none. The film received no nominations or wins that I could find from a search, which could have partly been from the poor reception or could also be from the film's controversy, which I will get to momentarily. Let me talk about the film itself. 30 Minutes or Less is kind of two stories that come together. First, we have the story of slacker pizza delivery guy Nick, played by Jesse Eisenberg, in a more centered performance than the anxiety comedy driven awkward man we usually get from him. And he's dealing with the fallout with his longtime friend Chet, played by Aziz Ansari, because during an argument where tempers get a little flared, each will reveal that they sort of screwed each other over when they were kids and in high school. And so, you know what? What happened there has had some long term effects, so they're done. So we're dealing with that, overcoming those challenges of friendship lost. Then on the flip side, we have the other two. We have Dwayne, played by Danny McBride, another slacker who wants to get rid of his dad, affectionately referred to as the Major, played by Fred Ward, so he can get his inheritance. We learn that his dad won $10 million in the lottery and really doesn't do much except spend money, and Dwayne, feeling he doesn't need to do much, just hangs out with his best bud Travis, played by Nick Swardson, and figures, you know what, I just need to get my money, and then we can open a business and we can have a life. So, here's how the two can join. Dwayne gets convinced by one of his favorite dancers named Juicy, played by Bianca Kajlik, that Dwayne should hire a hitman, who we will see is played by Michael Pena, to take care of his dad so that he can get his inheritance. But in order to do that, he's got to get about $100,000 to pay a hitman. So to get the money, Dwayne and Travis decide to hatch and force someone to rob a bank for them so that they don't have to do the actual crime. So, figuring they need someone at random, they take advantage of the 30-minute or less pizza policy and decide to use the pizza delivery man, who, as we see, is going to end up being Nick. When he arrives at the desolate setting to deliver his pizza, he is knocked unconscious and wakes up to find that he has been fitted with a bomb. And it is explained to him that he has 10 hours to rob a local bank and get $100,000 for Dwayne and Travis, or else the bomb is going to explode. If he talks to anybody or goes to the police, the bomb will explode. And so Nick, not really sure what to do, where does he run? He runs to Chet. And begrudgingly, Chet does agree to help him. And through a series of events, and kind of a spoiler midway, but I will say Nick and Chet will rob the bank, but it won't be a quick money handoff and bomb vest off. There will be double crosses, fights, and I apologize for using this light-hearted term, but some hijinks. This film is trying to play up the comedy even in these drastic circumstances, and we will see who makes it to the end when we get to the tense moment where we bring in Hitman, people who hired said hitman, and people who are pushed into committing crimes in order to get money to pay for said hitman. All right. So the film crams a lot into a brief runtime of about 80 minutes. It almost feels like this script was a first draft and they went right into filming it without really doing rewrites or looking at this a little bit. And as a result, the comedy strengths that these actors have done in so many projects, both before this film and after, don't really get to lean in too much. I mean, the film goes off the rails so much, trying to converge these two different plots that neither gets the attention it deserves. It's not to say that there aren't some laughs or some clever moments. There are. Eisenberg is actually a standout in Nick, because again, he's not playing that nervous, anxious guy he usually plays. He tones it down here, even in this moment of comedy. And this is the second time he's worked with Fleischer. Fleischer, in his first directorial debut, directed Eisenberg in Zombieland, so he knew how to work with Eisenberg's energy to center this film, but he needed a better project to continue after Zombieland's success. What I will say is that the good thing about the film, which is why it's here, is recognizing that work, is Göransson's score. It's very effective, but again, because this film twists and turns so fast, the music has to change, so it it's kind of a mishmash, but it works. Things are scored when they need to be, and during tense standoffs, we get some nice moments in the music, and then we get some lighter-hearted moments. But again, with the inconsistencies, you almost wonder if we needed another 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, this film could have been an hour 40. It was an hour 20. And as a result, for example, the plot that surrounds the hitman for Dwayne's dad, I mean, Pena, a great comic actor, is very much wasted in this. We almost don't even need to have that part of the plot because it kind of gets abandoned. And look, and again, this film is a little controversial, which could have also led to those lower audience scores. A lot of people were not very happy with this film when it came out. So, the controversy, for those that may not be familiar, in 2003, there was a pizza delivery man who was forced into wearing an explosive device to go and rob a bank. Maybe not forced, but part of this plan was for him to rob a bank because someone needed money to hire a hitman to kill their father. So, I mean, that's a little too aligned. And the history is a little more tragic than this film goes. And there are reports that said, the cast and the filmmakers were not really aware of this situation. The writers did say they had like a passing knowledge of it, but a little too close. And given our current climate, like bomb vests and that, I mean, this film is now over 11 years old, doesn't maybe age particularly well, and I think in another 10 really won't. Um, let me look. I had high hopes for this film. I like this cast, I like this director, and there were comedic moments, but 30 minutes or less is only a two-star film for me. Not so bad for 1 star. I really reserve my 1 star ratings, but it is two. And if you are curious enough to see this film, although I would almost recommend if you want to see a better Fleischer film and you like Eisenberg, check out a Zombieland double feature. They're better. But 30 minutes or less is not currently streaming on any platform as of this posting, but you can rent it or purchase it on pretty much all digital platforms. All right. Moving along with Rewind, we are about two-thirds of the way through, but there's still a lot more nominees and winners for me to cover as we start to wrap it down. If you like what you heard here, you can click the button, subscribe to the channel. If you can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all forms of social media and on Letterboxd, and check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for all of the exclusive content that's up there. All right. Happy watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.